So we're starting a new unit on checking accounts in consumer math, and our first lesson is going to discuss deposits and all of the vocabulary that you're going to need to understand in running your own checking account. So if you need to pause the video to put these into your notebook, these are our four vocabulary terms. The first one is what an actual deposit is. So the deposit is any money that you put into your account, whether it is a savings account or a checking account. But that could consist of checks, currency, coins, banking accounts, savings accounts, any kind of account that you have. The money that goes in is the deposit. You might also have a direct deposit. My paycheck for the month, for the 2 weeks, is put into a direct deposit. That means that my employer puts that check directly into my bank. They don't give it to me. It gets sent electronically, and it shows up in my account 2 times a month. That's what a direct deposit is. You can also electronically send money to other people if you have online banking. Now, I'm sure you've seen an ATM machine on the side of the road. So an ATM machine is a place where you can do some of your banking without actually going into the bank and talking to a teller. So at an ATM, you can check your balances, you can deposit money, you can withdraw money. When you have an ATM card or a debit card, you'll need a personal identification number. Usually it's a 4-digit code, and that adds a level of security onto your account so that nobody can steal that card and then take money out of the bank without that personal identification number. Okay, so how do we deposit money? So we have our formula here that our total deposit's going to be everything that we're putting in. So whether it's currency, which is our paper money, coins, or checks, that all gets added together, and then we're going to subtract out any cash received. Now, when you're depositing money into a bank, it's important that you understand how to use a deposit ticket. So I hope you took the time to download the examples of a deposit ticket. So this is what our deposit ticket looks like. So you'll notice that most importantly, down at the bottom of your deposit ticket, you should have two groups of numbers. The first group of number is the routing number, and that routing number is your specific bank's number. So if you bank with PNC, they have a number that is their routing number. If you bank at Bank of America, they have a different number. So the first number there identifies your institution. The second number is your specific account number, the account number that's associated with your money. So that identifies where the money goes into or where the money comes out of if you have a check. All right, now along the right-hand side here is where we're going to put in our deposits. Now typically you should use a black or a blue pen to fill this out. No pencils, never use a pencil. Okay, so let's look at this. Tracy's making a deposit into her account. She has checks for these amounts. Now, along the left-hand side is a place to put the check number. Now, we weren't really given the check number, so I'm just going to put 3 generic numbers in there, 101, 102, 103, just to identify 3 different checks. We're going to list $328.90, $234.78, and $52.43. It's very important that you get everything lined up around their decimal point, so all of the place values match. In addition to that, she is putting in all of this cash. So we need to calculate what that cash is going to be. So real quick here, we're going to do 3 $20 bills. So I do 3 times 20, 5 $10 bills, 4 $5 bills, and 12 $1 bills. I'm just going to add 12 in there. She has 36 quarters, so don't forget when I'm multiplying out to use a decimal, 0.25. She has 14 dimes, 14 times 10 cents, plus 16 nickels. Make sure you put a decimal and a zero in there. And 23 pennies. So I'm just going to put 0.23 cents. So we want to total all of that. That's her currency and that is her coins. So that gives us a total of $153.43 in cash. That's going to go in the first box. Now notice I'm going to check this box over here so I alert my bank that I am including cash in the deposit. So I have a total of $153.43. So this is my total deposit. So my subtotal, when I add all of those numbers together, is $769.54. But it says here that Tracy is taking out $100 out of this deposit for a gift. So right here it says less cash received. So we're going to put how much cash that we want to take out of this deposit and then subtract it for a total of $669.54. Now, I know this line right here is hard to read, but it says sign here for cash received from your deposit. So as soon as I'm taking cash out, and you don't have to take out, but as soon as you take cash out, you need to sign here. So you're going to do your signature, whatever it should look like, should go here. And it's very important that you sign that so that the bank is aware of how much money you want to take out. And the last thing that needs to be filled out is the date. Now, some of these funds won't automatically be able to be withdrawn for a withdrawal from the bank because of their pending check status, but you might be able to take out some of it. So the bank will let you know if you can take any money out. So that's how you fill out a deposit ticket. Now, in your book, I'd like you to try on page 180, concept checks 1 and 2, and use the other 2 deposit tickets to fill those out. When you are done, go ahead and play the video and check your work. So this is concept check number 1, and her name was really Emily Anderson. I just went by Lisa Smith on the check. But these are the totals. She had $141.54 in cash. She had 2 separate checks, which gave us a subtotal. She's receiving $40 back, and that's giving her a total deposit of $1,320.30. Make sure you sign and date it because of the cash received. All right, moving on to concept check number 2. Now you'll notice in this deposit, Jacob Thomas is not taking any money out. So what I do here is I put a big 0. That way, if my deposit was lost in some way, somebody can't go in and try to add money in there that they take out of my account. I just always 0 that out. It's not required, but it's an extra added security to your account. All right, so Jacob had $578.91 for cash. Want to make sure we check that box. List the checks for a subtotal of $938.66 with no cash back, gives us a total of $938.66. Notice that I did not sign this. You can sign it, but you don't need to unless you're receiving money back. So I don't sign it just for another added security. All right, let's look at our second example. It says Jill makes a deposit at PNC. She can't remember how much in checks that she deposited, but she knows that the amount in checks was 3 times the amount in currency. Her deposit slip says $1,000 and she walked away with $100. How much in cash and how much in checks did she deposit? So since she can't remember what her values were, I'm going to let X be currency. And since it said she deposited 3 times the currency, that means that 3X is going to be the amount in checks. Okay, so she started with a $1,000 deposit, and that included her currency, that included her checks, but it also included a $100 withdrawal. So this is our formula, what she deposited and what she took out. So I'm going to go ahead and simplify that, and together I have 4 x's. I'm going to add that 100 to the other side, leaving me with 1,100 is equal to 4x. And I'll divide both sides by 4. That means x is going to be 275, and that's going to be the currency or the cash. And then when I multiply that by 3, take 275 times 3, I get $825 would be the checks. So that's what her separate pieces were. Go ahead again and pause the video and try concept checks 3 and 4 on page 181. When you're ready to start, I have these problems worked out so you can use it to guide your practice. So concept check number 3, I set my variables x for coins and 6x for checks. I set up my equation, I solved and found that the deposit was $20 in coins and $120 in checks. And for the 4th concept check, I made my variables x for the smallest check. 2x was really that second check. It said the 3rd check was the sum of the other 2. So you can see down here, I added the 1st check to the 2nd check to the 3rd check, taking out $50, and then I simplified to 6x minus 50 and solved. That meant that the 1st check was worth $67.50. The 2nd check was double that at $135, and the 3rd check was the sum of those 2, which gives us $202.50. I'm going to give you some practice problems on Google Classroom to try this evening. If you have any questions, send me an email.